What is going on, YouTube fitness family? Eric Janicki back here, and we have today the ultimate, the perfect, the only shoulder workout you will ever need. Not only the movement patterns, but the form cues that you can apply to your other shoulder movements, and actually to a lot of your other movement patterns in general. Without further ado, let's get it. Exercise number one, we are going to start with a press. I usually would prioritize a raise. Let's say you only have limited time. I'm always going to prioritize lateral head because that's going to give you that boulder shoulder look. But if we're going to do a full shoulder workout and we have time for a press, I would lead with it, especially if you're warmed up. If you tend to be a little creaky through the shoulders, I would lead with a raise. But if you feel like you don't have any shoulder impingements, issues, I would do a severe incline press. So instead of being completely 90, this is about 88 degrees. I'd be closer to 75 to 80 degree, because what we want to see is in front and pushing with elbows right about here. If we get too far out here, first of all, you're gonna put yourself in a little bit of a dangerous position for that shoulder cap, but we wanna be right here, and this is gonna allow us to get nice in that arch back position and drive through front delt. So this position is what I'm looking for. I wanna be nice, arch in the back, shoulders are dropped, elbows can tuck slightly underneath the bar right here, just so I can push up through front delt, try to minimize tricep involvement and put myself in a nice safe position where I can get nice and deep in that rep, consciously drive through front delt, soft lock out at the top. So we're not gonna press all the way up through here. We're gonna stay back here, nice push up to about, I would say about 80% of the way. If we're gonna talk about an arm elbow angle, this is true 180. You see how my shoulder pushed up towards my ear. I wanna be dropped, and elbow angle probably about 165. This is definitely not a necessity, but using a fat grip helps me to cue into pushing through my palm instead of squeezing the bar, and it helps a lot of people that are kind of starting out. So I kind of overturn this, make sure it's 100% even. As you can see here, nice proud chest, pushing all front delt. Another form cue I like to use is when I get to the bottom rep, feel that stretch there, and then I like to almost cue into front delt and consciously almost push toward, almost as much forward as I am straight up. So I want to almost push towards the mirror here. Slow eccentric into that big stretch. I would shoot for 2, maybe 3 working sets, up to maybe 15 reps. If you want to shoot, just go as low as 6 on your final set if you feel really, really comfortable with the form. At a heavier weight, I have no opposition to that. The people I suggest going a little higher rep are people that, first of all, have a propensity to lose engagement. If we get close to failure, even if that's at 12, 14, 15 reps, we're gonna be in a good spot. So don't just think you have to get down to 4 reps, super heavy, in order to grow, and maximizing mechanical tension within that target muscle group. Exercise number 2. If I had to do literally one exercise for delts ever again, this would be it. And the reason being, lateral head of the delt is gonna be where it really builds out the width and it gives that real crazy Metroid Prime looking pop to the shoulder. So we're gonna have our cuffs here, because what we're gonna be doing is pushing our hands out directly away from our body. So we wanna have the cuffs. Okay, so what I wanna do is push myself towards the very edge of the bench here. I wanna lock my feet in to the bottom of the bench. I wanna drop shoulders back. I wanna put tension. And then what I wanna do is push the back of my hands out towards the opposite wall here, up and back. Same way on the way forward, staying nice and low, reaching across, big stretch, dragging up and out. And the nice thing about the cuffs, obviously you don't have to worry about the grip. I like to make fists with my hands so I can still cue into delts. So slow on the eccentric, into stretch. Once you get to here, I wanna think push out. So I wanna push directly out, not up. So think pushing out, and then you kind of raise out and then back. So what we're doing is a upright row. The reason I like a cable upright row versus a standing barbell or a Smith machine upright row is just because essentially you can leverage back. You don't have to worry about the weight pulling you forward, because you can match that vector of force with the torso angle, and it just becomes a non-factor. The second reason is it's an even force curve. Lock in, over hand grip. So instead of having our grip like this, we're actually gonna lock our hands over, which is gonna track our elbows up and put us in a perfect formation to track delts. The way I'm gonna keep this out of my traps is keeping the shoulders down and trying to pull with high elbows without lifting the shoulders to the ears. So big stretch, and then we're gonna drag it up the body, right underneath the chin. And you see, I wanna try to keep it out of the traps by instead of pulling up to my shoulders, I just try to lead with elbows and pull with delts. So slow eccentric load, dragging it right up the body. And you can see by leaning back, I'm matching the angle, so I don't have to constantly fight this pulling me forward. I can just be right in line, squeeze, slow on the eccentric. And you see that by having the pinkies up, it tracks the elbows naturally high and keeps the emphasis where we want it. Okay, so last exercise, we have hit our press, we've hit our lateral raise movement, we've hit our upright row. Now we're gonna hit rear delts, so a reverse fly. I like the machine here, stability. Also, you get to be really locked in. And what I like to do is single, because I can reach across body. Instead of being here, you can see that I'm limited to here, whereas if I come cross body, I get to be here, and then I'm only gonna come to here. A lot of the mistakes I see people make with rear delts, they try to come back to about here. You're basically gonna go all into low trap and tricep at that point. So you can see when the rear delt is the most lit up is actually gonna be from the stretch to about here. So we're gonna lock in, we're gonna cross over, get a big stretch, lean out slightly, and then we're gonna come up to about there. So this one tracks up slightly, but we wanna reach across face, and you can see how much stretch I'm getting in that rear delt. And then I wanna come across only to about there. That's where we're gonna get the most activation. So stretch across, push to there. And so, like I said, what I see people do is they try to get way too far back and they do this one back here. And realistically, that's all gonna be tricep and trap. At that point, we wanna stop right about there. So right there, come across face, reach, 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 brace here, up to about there. And you can really see that rear delt light up on these. All right, so I know you guys always appreciate a little physique check. We're about 12 weeks post-show, 282 this morning. I've been holding there for the last week or so. Not too concerned with getting overly heavy, because part of the process, I think my hamstrings are definitely improving, which was one of the biggest points of emphasis. Hope you guys love the workout. Hope you guys love the content. Please subscribe if you're not already. Please go get your Momentous apparel, your HCLT supplements. I love you guys, appreciate you guys. We'll see you on the next video.